I spent 2 years waiting for a big moment to change how I felt about myself. I thought I needed a stage or someone else's permission to feel confident again. But I've realized that confidence isn't a destination, it's a toolkit. When I was drowning in the ghost phase of motherhood, I didn't have 5 hours for self care. I barely had 5 minutes. So I stopped looking for the big fix and started leaning into these tiny shifts. Now, I want to be clear. I don't do these perfectly every day. Some days I don't do any of them. But these are 10 habits I reach for when I feel myself slipping back into that off feeling. They aren't a chore list, they are a rescue mission for my identity. And today I'm sharing the 10 tiny habits that help me rebuild my confidence whenever I need it the most. Hey y'all, I'm Sadie, a dancer, mama, Navy wife, and a woman on a mission to rediscovering herself again, and this is Becoming Her Again. We just got real about postpartum anxiety and the imposter feeling in the last couple of videos, but today is all about the practical side of the rise. And if you're tired of feeling off and you're ready for some small manageable tools to have in your back pocket for those hard days, you're in the right place. So make sure that you are subscribed because we're rebuilding this version of us together. Now let's jump into what I remind myself to do when I need a reset. So the first one is something I reach for when I feel like I'm disappearing. It's the 3-minute mirror check-in. Now, when you're in the thick of the hard season, you kind of stop looking at yourself. You look at the laundry or the tired eyes or the messy kitchen. You see mom, but you don't see Sadie. When I feel that disconnect, I force myself to look myself in the eyes, not at my skin, not at my hair, but at me. And I literally say, I see you. You're doing a great job. You are still in there. And it's about internal reconnection. It's a habit of acknowledging your own existence when the world feels like it's swallowing you whole. Now, habit number 2 is about dressing for her. There are days where the oversized hoodie is exactly what I need, but when I feel my confidence is dipping, I realize I'm dressing for the version of me that wants to hide. So when I need that boost, I put on something that makes me feel like a dancer or a woman with a mission. And for me, that could simply just be my favorite pair of leggings or just doing my hair outside of this ponytail. Today wasn't the day. But for you, that might mean putting on your favorite pair of earrings or getting dressed up in your favorite outfit. Regardless, I know that this is a signal to my brain that I'm not stuck. I am under construction. I'm choosing to dress for the woman I'm becoming, even if I'm just staying at home with Koa. Now, habit number 3 is my go-to for high anxiety days, and it's the done list. Our to-do list is never finished, and that can make us feel like we're failing every single night. And when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I flip the script. I write down 3 things I did do. I sat on the floor and played with Koa. I finally did the pile of laundry that was causing me even more anxiety. I chose to be the scientist instead of the judge. This is how I rebuild self-trust. It proves that I'm showing up in ways that actually matter, even when the house is still a mess. Now, habit number 4 is my 5-minute movement anchor. When I'm stuck in that ghost phase, I feel completely disconnected from my body. My brain is everywhere, but it feels like my feet aren't even on the ground. And when I catch myself feeling like that, I don't try to do a full hour-long dance practice. I just put on one song, usually something that reminds me of who I am, and I move. And a lot of times, I'll include Koa into this because your boy loves to dance. And it's not about fitness, it's about internal reconnection. It's telling my body, I'm still here and you're still a dancer. It's a tiny bit of starting over energy that reminds me I haven't lost my talent. I've just been giving my body the rest it needs. Now, habit number 5 is something I do when the mom rage or the anxiety starts to flare up, and that's the scientist audit. When I feel that heat or frustration rising, I stop and I ask myself, what's the data here? And usually the data says you're overstimulated, or you haven't had a glass of water in 4 hours, or I'm just tired. And by looking at the facts instead of judging my feelings, the shame disappears. And this habit of checking the data of my day is how I protect my peace and stop the spiral before it even starts. Habit number 6 is a big one for my confidence: curating my input. We all do it, okay? We're scrolling and suddenly we're comparing our messy middle to someone else's highlight reel. When I start feeling less than, I remind myself to do a quick audit of who I'm following. If an account makes me feel like I'm behind or not enough, I mute it or I click unfollow. And that's because I want my feed to be a place that inspires the woman I'm becoming, not a place to make me grieve the woman that I used to be. I choose to fill my space with that rise energy, not comparison energy. Habit number 7 is a simple language shift. It's the power of not yet. Okay? Anxiety loves to tell you that you've failed or that you've lost it. And when those thoughts come up, like, I'm not a good dancer anymore, or I'm not a good mom today, I add one word to the end: yet. I don't feel like myself yet. I haven't mastered this routine yet. It takes the pressure off of the present moment and reminds me that I am in the process, okay? It turns a dead end into a journey. And this is one of the fastest ways that I rebuild my confidence when I'm feeling stuck. And it's just one simple word: yet. Now, habit number 8 is my identity alarm. We've all been there. It's 3 p.m., you've been doing laundry, cleaning up the Cheerios, and answering to mom all day, and you suddenly realize you haven't had a single thought that wasn't about someone else's needs. You feel like a ghost in your own kitchen. And when I feel that fading feeling, I have a mental alarm that goes off. I stop and I ask, what does Sadie need right now? Not what does the house need, not what does Koa need, but me. And sometimes the answer is just putting on a specific playlist or taking 2 minutes to write in my journal. It's a habit of internal reconnection. It's a tiny reminder that you are a whole person, not just a support system for someone else. You have to advocate for your own soul, even in the middle of a busy Tuesday. And then habit number 9 was a hard one for me to learn, but it's been huge for my confidence. And that is the no explanation, no, okay? As moms, and especially as women, we feel like we have to justify every time we choose ourselves. We feel like we have to give a 20-minute presentation on why we need an hour to go to the dance class or why we can't make it to that event. I've started practicing the habit of saying no without the guilt trip. When I'm protecting my time for my passion projects or just my mental health, I don't apologize for it anymore. Confidence comes from self-trust, and you can't trust yourself if you're constantly apologizing for having boundaries. Choosing your rise sometimes means saying no to things that drain your energy. And that's not selfish, that's maintenance. And the final habit, habit number 10, is celebrating the ugly practice. Now, let me explain. This is for my dancers and for my high achievers. We get so caught up in wanting the end result to be perfect. The perfect routine, the perfect video, the perfect snapback. But when you're in process, it's gonna be messy. And when I'm having a day where my balance is off and I can't quite catch the choreo, I make it a habit to celebrate that I showed up anyway. I tell myself the win wasn't the perfect pirouette. The win was that I put on my shoes and I showed up. This is starting over energy at its finest. It's about falling in love with the rebuild instead of just the reveal. Okay, when you stop being afraid of the ugly parts of growth, your confidence becomes untouchable because you aren't afraid of the mess anymore. Now, I want to take a second to tell you what it actually looks like when I don't use these habits and how I pull myself out of it. Because I don't want you to think that I'm just sitting here with all the answers perfectly recovered. No, not even close, especially right now. If you've been following my journey, you know that my husband Caleb is currently deployed. And if you're a military spouse or a solo parent or just a mom whose partner is gone a lot, you know that deployment amplifies everything, okay? The silence in the house at night is louder. The red zone feels a lot more dangerous because there's no one to hand the baton to when you're overstimulated. And there's no one to step in when Koa is having a moment and I'm having a moment too. Just last week, I had one of those ghost phase days where I woke up late, Koa was extra energetic, the house felt small, and my anxiety was at a 10. I was answering to mom, and honestly, I was starting to feel that heat, that red zone energy, because Caleb is away, and the judge in my head was being extra mean that day, because she was telling me, Sadie, you can't even handle a Tuesday morning by yourself. How are you going to keep up with your training? You're failing at both. And girl, in that moment, I didn't have a choice. I had to reach into my toolkit. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't do all 10 habits. I didn't have time for a grand rise. I just did habit number 1 and then habit number 4. I looked at myself in the mirror, in the eyes, as I was getting ready, and I said, you are solo parenting during a deployment. That's the data. You are tired because this is hard, not because you're weak. And then I put on a song that I knew would lift my spirits and listened as I got ready. And Koe even took this opportunity to dance, so I took that as an opportunity to move with them. Now, it didn't make the house cleaner or Caleb come home any sooner, but it broke the cycle. It proved to me that I still have starting over energy available to me, even when I'm the only adult in the room. That is the power of these tools. They aren't about having a perfect life. They are about having a way back to yourself when you're carrying it all on your own. And I want to lean into why these habits actually work, especially when your brain is telling you that they're too small to matter. When you're in the middle of a deployment or a hard season of motherhood, our brains are constantly in survival mode. We are scanning for threats, managing schedules, and basically living in a state of high cortisol. When you're in that state, your brain doesn't believe in big goals. If I tell my brain I'm going to be a pro dancer again starting today, my anxious brain laughs and says, Sadie, you can't even find the matching socks. But when I use habit number 1, the mirror talk, or habit number 10, where I'm celebrating the ugly practice, right? I'm hacking my own biology. I'm giving my brain a hit of dopamine for a win that it can actually achieve. It's the belief that you have the power to change your own state. Each tiny habit is a vote for the woman you're becoming. You aren't just stretching for 5 minutes, you're telling your nervous system, I am safe enough to take care of myself. That is how you start the rise. It's not a giant leap, it's a million tiny steps in the right direction. And for my military spouses out there or anyone solo parenting right now, I want to talk about the transition. Now, Caleb has only been gone for a couple of weeks, but if you've been through this, you know those first few weeks are their own kind of mountain. It's that period where the initial survival adrenaline starts to fade and you realize just how quiet the house is at night or how long the days feel when you're the only one on duty. This transition is where that judge loves to whisper. She tells you that you're already falling behind because the house is a mess or because you're too exhausted to even think about training. She tries to convince you that your dreams, your dance, your becoming her again journey, they have to go on the shelf until he gets back. But I'm learning even in these first few weeks that my identity didn't go on deployment with him. My journey doesn't have to press the pause button just because the Navy called up and said, hey, Caleb, you gotta go. In fact, this transition is where the growth happens. I'm learning how to be soft but strong when I'm the only adult in the room. I'm discovering that my confidence isn't dependent on his presence. It's built right now in these quiet, shaky moments where I chose to use these 10 habits instead of just waiting until homecoming. If you're in a transition right now and it feels heavy, don't look at the whole mountain. Just look at the next 5 minutes. You're doing it, even when it feels like you're just beginning. Now, people ask me how I stay motivated to keep training or keep pushing for her when my life is so unpredictable with the Navy, the toddler, the distance, all the things, right? And the truth is, it isn't about motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings change like the weather, especially during deployment. But it's about self-trust. Every time I use one of these tiny habits, every time I choose to be the scientist instead of the judge, when I'm solo parenting, I am proving to myself that I am a woman of my word. I am proving that my identity as a dancer isn't something I lost in the move to California or in the middle of his deployment. It's something I'm actively choosing every single day. And for a long time, I thought I was waiting for my old self to come back. But I realized that the woman I was 5 years ago didn't have the tools that I have now. She didn't know how to handle a deployment. She didn't know how to find her center when she's been touched out and tired. So I stopped grieving her and I started investing in her. The woman who is rising right now in the middle of the mess. She is who I am investing in. And if you're in that fog, especially if you're doing this solo right now, I want you to hear this. You are allowed to be in process and still be powerful. You are allowed to be tired and still be a dancer. You are allowed to be a mom and still have dreams that belong only to you. These habits are just the bricks we use to build that foundation of self-trust so that when the world feels shaky, you don't have to be. So as always, thank you so much for sitting with me today. I hope that these 10 tiny habits, or even just one of them, gives you a little bit of air today. I want to hear from you. Which one of these tools are you going to try this week? Especially my fellow military mamas, how are you holding space for yourself right now? Okay, comment below and let's talk about it. And if you're struggling with that ghost feeling too, be sure to drop this emoji below so that we can support each other and so that I know that you stay to the end. We are all rising together, one tiny habit at a time. And if you're ready to go deeper into the mindset shift that changed my life, you need to watch my video on my top 5 struggles with postpartum anxiety. It's the raw version of why these habits are so necessary. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more videos just like this. But as always, I want you to remember, you are stronger than you think.